Morgan and Alex had been married for a few years. Their paths first crossed by pure coincidence at a neighborhood bar, where Morgan was out celebrating one of her friend's birthdays. Alex happened to be there too, hanging out with his own circle of friends. Eventually, both groups mingled, with Alex and his buddies striking up conversations with the lively, charming women at Morgan's table. While none of their friends ended up connecting beyond that night, something sparked between Morgan and Alex. They began dating soon after, and after about a year together, decided to get married. They weren't in a rush to start a family. Instead, they wanted to focus on building a stable life and perhaps doing a little traveling, although that part was tricky. They were still working on paying off the hefty loan they'd taken out for their lavish wedding, the kind Morgan had always imagined. One day, an exciting announcement came their way. Kayla, one of Morgan's old high school friends, was getting married. The wedding was scheduled for early August, giving them plenty of time to prepare. Initially, Alex planned to attend alongside Morgan. It was rare they both had the chance to show up to social events together. Life always seemed to throw something in their way. And once again, life did just that. Alex's job suddenly assigned him a work trip out of town, scheduled exactly during Kayla's wedding weekend. There was no way around it. So, reluctantly, they agreed to spend the weekend apart. Morgan was determined not to miss her friend's big day, so she went on her own. Before leaving for his trip, Alex asked Morgan to pass along his warm wishes to Kayla and her soon-to-be husband. They agreed to call each other in the evenings to keep in touch. But on the actual day of the wedding, Morgan didn't answer his calls. Later, she told Alex the celebration had run way longer than expected, and she hadn't gotten home until the early hours of the morning. Once Alex returned from his trip, he started to notice subtle but odd changes in Morgan's behavior. She began spending more time out with her friends and often came home late, claiming work had kept her back. About a month after Kayla's wedding, Morgan woke up one morning feeling unwell. She told Alex she wasn't going into the office and would be staying home instead. After calling her boss to report she was sick, she curled back into bed. Alex, concerned but supportive, wished her well and said, "Let me know if you need anything." Later that day, during his lunch break, Alex had a free hour and decided to surprise Morgan with some fresh fruit. But when he got home, she wasn't there. Confused, he paused. Did she start feeling better and step out? Then another thought crossed his mind. What if something happened? What if she ended up in the hospital? Panic creeping in, he immediately called her. When Morgan answered, her voice sounded surprisingly upbeat. She explained she had gone out to grab a few things from the store. Relieved, Alex offered to wait for her so they could share lunch. But Morgan quickly dismissed the idea, saying she was at a store farther from home and it wasn't worth the wait. Though he tried to brush it off, something didn't sit right with him. Why go all the way across town to shop when there was a grocery store just minutes away? And if she was feeling sick enough to call off work, wouldn't it make more sense to order delivery instead? That evening, when Alex came home, he found Morgan in the kitchen preparing dinner. She greeted him warmly, as if nothing was amiss. As he stepped behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist, he caught a strong whiff of perfume in her hair, one he didn't recognize. "Did you go anywhere else besides the store today?" he asked, gently. "No," Morgan answered, drawing out the words slowly. "There was just this moment where I was feeling a bit better," Morgan explained, "so I thought I'd grab a few groceries. Then I came straight home and went back to bed." At that moment, Alex felt a flicker of unease. Since when did someone recovering from an illness spritz on perfume just to run errands? Sure, some people like to look nice even for the simplest tasks, but that had never been Morgan's style. She was the type to toss on a hoodie, head to the corner store in 5 minutes flat, and call it a day. Perfume, for her, was reserved for special occasions. Despite Alex's doubts about her story, part of it was true. She had gone back to bed that day, just not in their home. Of course, Alex didn't know that yet. Not long after, Morgan came home in a sour mood. The moment she stepped inside, she launched into a furious rant. Apparently, she and Kayla had gotten into a serious argument. Alex, already drained from work, listened with half his attention. From what he could gather, it was their worst falling out in a decade of friendship. The two women hadn't spoken since, and Morgan was fuming. She insisted Kayla had crossed the line. Later that evening, after dinner and some time to cool off, Morgan seemed calmer, and the rest of the night passed without incident. But a couple of days later, something unexpected happened. Kayla called Alex directly. He was caught completely off guard. Maybe it was a misdial. Maybe she meant to call Morgan. But Kayla's voice was low and intentional. "No," she said softly, almost in a whisper. "I called to talk to you. Just you." What came next was something Alex never would have heard if the two former best friends hadn't become enemies. Her voice trembled with a mix of outrage and something else, maybe satisfaction. "Alex, remember how you couldn't make it to my wedding?" she began. "Well, let me just say, your wife didn't seem too broken up about it." Kayla's voice rose, sharp with emotion. She explained that Morgan had run into her high school ex, James, at the wedding. He was someone she had dated back in senior year, someone she apparently never fully let go of. After James moved away to another city, Morgan eventually met Alex, and the past was left behind, or so he thought. Now James was back, and according to Kayla, they rekindled their connection that very night. And it didn't stop there. Someone at the reception had reportedly spotted them slipping into the bathroom together. Kayla didn't sugarcoat it. "They weren't in there fixing their hair," she said bluntly. "Don't be surprised that they've been sneaking around since." Alex sat there, stunned. Was this real? Was Kayla lying out of spite? Or was she exposing the truth? Trying to test her, he said, "All right, then, got any proof?" Kayla went silent for a moment. Then she answered, "I'll dig it up and send it to you." And just like that, the call ended, leaving Alex staring at his phone in disbelief. Was she telling the truth? Or was this all just some elaborate payback? About 30 minutes later, a photo landed in Alex's inbox. It showed Morgan at the wedding reception, her arms wrapped around a man in a way no married woman should. Along with the photo came a short video clip. Morgan stepping out from a hallway, readjusting her wrinkled dress before rejoining the party. That night, Alex packed Morgan's belongings and left them neatly at the front door. When she returned and saw everything outside, she acted confused, like she had no idea what was going on. But when Alex mentioned that Kayla had told him everything, Morgan's expression shifted. Her defense quickly turned into an attack. She called Kayla a liar, accused her of fabricating the whole story, and claimed it was all a setup. Alex wasn't buying it. He told her to leave, and soon after, he filed for divorce. In the end, a bitter falling out between two friends had pulled back the curtain on Morgan's secret life. Stripped of all the chaos, there was something almost darkly ironic about it. Two women had a petty argument, and one ended up spilling the other's deepest betrayal. It was true what people said. Everything happened for a reason. For Alex, the truth, no matter how painful, brought clarity. He realized he was better off without someone so disloyal, so easily distracted. From that point on, he made himself a quiet promise. Never again would he look for love in a bar. And never again would he let his heart walk blind into another storm like that one.